It's Monday morning. You know what that means. TSL's back with our very special Double or Nothing review. We have Stadium Stampede 2, a new title holder, and all the fallings out from Double or Nothing. This is TSL. Hey, welcome back to Total Spotfest Live. I am JJ Brownlee, accompanied to you today only by our magnificent young boy, the president of the North American chapter of the Christian Cage Fan Club. He is the ninth wonder of the world, Nick.
What's going on? Glad to be with you.
We are without Jamie. If you follow us, you know Jamie is on vacation. Jamie, enjoy your time with your daughters and your beautiful wife in Florida. We are going to come at you just with Nick and myself this week. So this is our special edition. We do these for all the big pay-per-views. This is for Double or Nothing, which happened last night. And oh my God, back to wrestling pay-per-views with a full audience. Before we get into it, what did you feel about the energy? Was something else, right?
Dude, it was electric. It's exactly, and I knew it was going to be the missing ingredient.
It was the shot in the arm you were looking for?
Well, okay. It was. And, you know, it seems kind of silly. It's like, well, why do we need fans in the audience? But it's that energy, man. And I remember watching wrestling right out of the gate. When COVID hit, you know, and there's just nobody. It's just people in a ring. Yeah, it was so weird. It was like watching practice, it was so odd. And then, you know, eventually we just got kind of accustomed to it. And then they would slowly add some people.
They made ways to do things, sure.
Right. But yeah, tonight.
There's no substitute.
There's no substitute. Great way to put it.
You're absolutely right. So we're going to get into it all. We're going to talk for just a quick second about last Friday's Dynamite. Dynamite is again on Friday this week. So quick little new housekeeping update for you guys here. We will be back tomorrow morning with our typical wrestling roundabout. We had a very interesting episode of Impact to talk about. I will definitely get into it. Spoiler alert, next week's Impact's going to be something that you want to invest time in. Just going to let you know about that ahead of time here. But we're talking about Impact. We'll talk about NXT, WWE, the news, everything going on. We'll do so. I'm sure there's going to be some fallout tomorrow. We're going to hear, or today, I should say, we're going to hear from Double or Nothing. So we'll talk all about that. We will not have a secondary show this week because Impact moving to Friday. We'll just talk about, or not Impact, sorry, Dynamite moving to Friday again this week. Thank you, NBA playoffs. We're not, Jamie's out of town. We're not going to do a show on Wednesday this week, so we're only going to do the one, this one here for our special, and then tomorrow we'll do one for our typical roundabout. Next week we should be back on regular schedule. I don't believe Dynamite's going to be on Wednesday night that week, but that's subject to change right now. Until Dynamite moves fully to TBS, we might have to adjust some things. We'll see. We'll see where we're at. So, for those of you joining us, thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of the show. You can holler at me, at JMoney1536. Mr. Faulkner, even though he is not here, you can still bother him. Please do. He's at theme parks with his 4 daughters. Just tweet him incessantly. It's great. At JFaulkner56. Don't bother reaching out to Nick. He's got no way to do it.
Don't even try.
If you want to holler at us in total, it is at Total Spotfest. And if you do like the video, please give it a big thumbs up. It does really help us. So let's get into talking about some AEW-ness. Are you ready, Nick?
Let's do it.
All right, the Exalted One's ready, so we're going to go. So last Friday was the go-home, the adjusted go-home, I'm going to call it, of Dynamite. Did you watch Dynamite from Friday?
I actually didn't, and it's not my fault.
Okay.
It's not my fault.
It's Friday at 9 o'clock, so it's kind of off. I actually watched it Saturday afternoon.
I blame
so
Spectrum.
I get you.
Spectrum gave me technical difficulties, and I know you'll all understand.
Man, dude, if you saw our video last week, you'll know Nick's internet. He changed internet providers, and it is definitely a thing.
It is easily the worst decision I've ever made in my life, and I've made a lot of bad ones.
You never know. Hey man, Google's still out there.
Yeah,
they service your I'm just saying. So it was a typical go home show. It was actually a pretty good go home show. They had a full crowd there. I don't think they completely filled it up, but they were open to a full crowd. They had the same stage setup there that they had for Double or Nothing last night. So for those of you who didn't watch, Double or Nothing went back to the original Daily's Place setup where they had the little side entrance ramp and just the one entrance, and they had people on the stage there. They had fans in the front rows. It felt good. And it was how you do a go-home show. You know, you had Darby Allin got a win over Cesar Bernoni. You had Adam Page got a win over Joey Janela. You know, Miro beat up Dante Martin just incessantly. And Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky beat Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, much to my chagrin. So, I mean, those people who are in the pay-per-view won matches, you know, not relatively easily. Yeah, I mean, some of them were, but definitely it was the typical way you do a go-home show. What's interesting to me was, like, because I've been saying this a lot for WWE. I want to hear them be honest. And I wanted to see the fans, you know. For one, we know for a fact, that Dark Order is over. They are so over with the fans. It just makes me happy. Join the Dark Order. Mr. Brody Lee. There's a theme going on here in JJ. I am so into the Dark Order. I was happy with that for one. For two, they revealed, this is the other big thing this is really the biggest thing that happened. They had a celebration for Shida's year-long reign, longest reign in AEW of any champion. And thankfully, they revealed a new belt. Mm-hmm. It's the same belt, but it's about twice the size. I think the text that you said to me, Nick, was that it felt like the adult version of a child's replica, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
I mean, it was terrible. It was a child's replica. So it's the same belt. It's more gold than silver, and it's bigger. It's big enough where I'm not going to bitch about it anymore. It still could be a little bit, you know, bigger and a little bit different. The style's whatever, subjective. It's not the worst belt in wrestling anymore. I will say that.
It's not the best. It's not the worst anymore. Yeah.
It's not. You know, other women's belts are better. You know, WWE for what it's worth, their women's belts are spot on.
They do well.
You know, they nailed that. You know, the tag belts are great. Mm-hmm. The women's, so that's the one thing WWE's women's divisions have going for them. And oh boy, am I going to dig into that tomorrow? Spoiler alert. There was something that happened Friday night that made me very angry, and you already know what
SmackDown?
It is. Nick. I am talking SmackDown. I'm talking about my girl. Hey, Ruby. Yeah.
Oh, no.
We're going to save that.
Yeah.
We're saving that for tomorrow because JJ is going to blow a gasket, I'm sure. But I don't want to do that right now because we're talking Double or Nothing. And Double or Nothing happened last night. The first pay-per-view with a full audience. Mm-hmm. WrestleMania had limited capacity. And you've always said WrestleMania doesn't count because it's like its own spectacle.
To me, it's the Super Bowl. You know, everybody in the crowd, not everybody, but a lot of people in the crowd are just like corporate. You know what I mean? It's just a mishmash of whoever is there. It's not.
I have friends from high school who've gotten out of wrestling completely, but they still watch WrestleMania every year.
It's exactly.
So that aside, this is basically the first major wrestling event in America that had attendance. It had a full attendance, and you could tell from the get-go. So it started off, and by the way, as we're going to go along with this, I have pulled up here my little spreadsheet. You saw us fill out the spreadsheet. Yes, I know I spelled Ogogo's name wrong. Yes, I corrected it. I got messages there about that. Yes, I know. Okay, so I have my spreadsheet here. We're going for our AEW championship belt, much like Nick is the WWE champion. The absent Jamie is our NXT champion. Megan still is the reigning AEW champion, and we're ripping that belt from her grasp. So I have our picks up here. Before each match, I'm going to give you the picks of what we said, and then we'll update the score. There's a counter box down below, as you see. We're going to keep updating the score. We did have a tiebreaker, and we'll talk about that if it comes up. So we started with the buy-in. The buy-in, which was available not just on pay-per-view, you could have watched it for free on YouTube too, was Serena Deeb versus Rhodes-Anthony for the NWA Women's title. And myself, Jamie, and Megan all picked Serena. Nick tied Gogus to Greg and picked Rhodes-Anthony. For what it's worth, this match I felt was amazing. I thought this match was stellar. It really was the first match with fans, full fans they were into it. It could have been shit anybody. It could have been Sonny Kiss versus, Anthony, QT Marshall, and they would have just gone ape shit, I think.
Nah,
so
you're probably
that
right
helped. There. But I still felt the match was great. I've been a big fan of Serena Deeb, but I always say Riho is good in her spurts. Depends on her opponent. Serena played well. They did a very good story back and forth. Serena's doing the slow heel turn, which I don't know if I love the way they're doing it. I like the idea, but whatever. In the end, it was reversal, back and forth. Serena Deeb in her yoga lock or whatever the shit it's called. she got the win. I don't remember.
No.
She got the win. So Serena Deeb retains her NWA champion. It's no surprise to three of us. Nick did not get that, but I think you were trying to be very.
I was just trying to be different because I knew we were going to be the same every place else. So I was like, screw it.
Yeah, there's going to be a point coming up here. As a quick spoiler for you guys, where two people are going to be eliminated very early because they're going to be mathematically impossible for them to win because we had a lot of the same picks. Good or bad, that's how it was. So right now, the three, me, Jamie, and Megan all got 8 points. Serena was your winner. She retains. No surprise. She's on contract with NWA. So show itself starts, and the crowd is in a fever pitch. And we start off with Hangman Adam Page versus Brian Cage, which is not the match I thought they would start. Yeah, this match was very good.
Loved it.
So first of all, we all picked Hangman to win. All four of us all picked Hangman to win this one. Brian Cage came out wearing something. I'm just going to say that. It was this weird, cosplay cyborg Terminator thing that was very cheap looking, I felt. It looked weird. I get the idea.
It was Party City stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't like Johnny Gargano when he came out in the way Iron Man stuff. It was very weird looking. But the match was just great, and this was it started off hot. They didn't bother easing into it. Me and my pacing thing. They didn't bother with that. They just went right at it, and good for them. Cage to me, because he's tied up in all this Team Taz shit. I feel like we lose fact that he is an amazing athlete.
Dude, he's awesome. He is awesome. They've had him on the shelf. I've been screaming about it for a month or so. Easy. So hopefully he'll break away. We'll see.
Hopefully he does. I mean, a guy of that, the Swolverine doing step-up insecurities with ease is just amazing.
Now, Adam Page made a great opponent tonight, though. He sold beautifully.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it took that to really get Cage over, but it worked. It was gorgeous.
I think so. Well, but the thing is, I believe that Cage can definitely play down.
Oh,
in
sure.
Size. He can play down to a different guy. He doesn't have to be against Miro or Archer or somebody massive, He can play down. Sure. But Hangman showed why he definitely should be on the top level. And the cowboy shit chants were great.
Awesome.
I loved seeing them. In the end, out comes Hook and Ricky Starks to interfere. And Cage turns them away. And that ends up costing him. So he basically, Starks throws the belt, the FTW belt, in the ring, and he kicks it back at him and says, "No, because it's a matter of pride. He wants to do this himself," which I appreciate. But it costs him the win. Dead Man or the what did they end up getting him with? I think it was the lariat, right? Whatever it was. Hangman ends up getting the win. So we all get a point on that. But there's a little friction then afterwards. We've been clamoring for this. I think this has got to be it, right? Shooting off the pot. This is him breaking away from Team Taz. It has to be, right?
I hope so. I hope that they don't just. Here's the problem: is I hope they don't just continue week by week by week, just doing some little skirmish. You know what I mean? Just end it.
I know.
Just rip the Band-Aid off. And
the problem is that, and here's why I don't think I want it to happen. I don't think it will. My reasoning is that Ricky's hurt, and Hobbs is still very green. Hobbs is getting a lot better. I will talk about that in the battle royal. He's getting a lot better. He's still green, and with Ricky being hurt, Team Taz becomes a whole lot of nothing if Cage is out.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
which
nothing.
shit happens. Yeah. I'm fine with that. Let it happen. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. They're toying with it more. So it is what it is. So that was your first match from the actual card. Hangman got a win. And then next, and the order of this surprised me just a little bit because I really thought they were going to start or go early with the Battle Royal. And then I thought maybe they had the TNT title, then maybe, Page versus Cage. But, they mixed up the order a little bit. So after Hangman and the Swolverine, we had the tag team title match of Young Bucks versus Moxie and Eddie Kingston. Now, we all picked Young Bucks here for this. All four of us picked the Young Bucks. And Moxley and Kingston came out to the Wild Thing from Major League. And my God, this is one of those times where you get the crowd.
Oh, you get goosebumps, man.
Oh my God, it was great. They were singing along just like in Major League. They came out. Jamie, he's not here. I know he's listening. He's going to watch this though. Was not wearing the Ricky Vaughn vest and glasses.
Right.
Disappointed. I want to know where he got his Mark T-shirt.
Oh, it was great, dude. That was
awesome.
I immediately went to the site expecting to see it there. I wanted my 20% off, and I didn't see it.
I know.
I will say this though, dude. I did not catch this. Angie had to point it out to me, but I was like, "Oh, that's fucking awesome." Kingston came out in Bad News Bears.
Bears jersey. Yeah,
it was great.
Bad News Bears jersey, and yes, that was great. And they came out holding the Dior's, and they're so. And the crowd was they're playing off it. And then the Bucks come out, right? The match gets going before the bell rings. It takes its way into the ring. And I know I know you caught this and you appreciate it. But if it focuses, I think it was, I don't remember which one of the Bucks it was, but they each singled off and Moxie had one of them.
Nick was the one that was all broken up about it the most.
He definitely was. Yeah, he kept going off. So they break off into the two pairs, right? So cameras are following each of them. Moxie takes the one of them up into the ring, up into the crowd area. And so they're on that first level of the, where the production cameras are and stuff, and there's a rail and there's people behind it. So he's beating up on Nick or Matt, whichever one it is. And then he grabs the can of beer from somebody, dumps it, and then does smash on his head a la Sandman. And I'm just like, that's great. That's freaking great. So a little, I don't know if that was intended to be a Sandman shout out, but I took it that way. And I'm not really even an ECW guy, and I still got it. So match finally gets going, and this was a much better match than I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to lie. I thought that it was going to be back and forth, but it was going to be very predictable, and it wasn't good. But no, Kingston, I felt held his own good, but it definitely was Moxie versus the Bucks. Let's be honest.
Sure, it was. Yeah.
And he played the invincible, just crazy person. He got cut up, bleeding profusely. It took like 4 V triggers in a row, or 4 BTE triggers in a row at the end. They eventually did get the win over him, but he definitely was just playing the invincible card quite a bit. It was a very entertaining match. The Bucks are great in front of live audiences that hate them.
Oh yeah.
So Bucks get the win. We all get a point. So you got me and Jamie and Megan all at 3. Nick is right behind us at 2. So the next match is where the tide could change, because this was, like I said, I thought was going to start, but this was the Casino Battle Royal. So we all had our pick. So Nick and Jamie chose Christian Cage. Megan, as always, chose Pentagon. If there's a Battle Royal in AEW, Megan chooses Pentagon, just to let you know. I fell in that trap and I got out of it. I said whomever the mystery entrant was going to win. Now, I didn't realize when I made that pick that the winner of this got a AEW title shot coming up here. So I'm like, when I heard that, I was like, man, I wish I would pick somebody else, because, it is what it is.
Yeah.
We also use this as our tiebreaker. So that's going to come into play, because the tiebreaker we chose, who was the mystery entrant? You, for some reason, said CM Punk. I think you're trying to get under my skin, and you really didn't. Yeah, well, yeah.
I honestly, I couldn't think of anybody other than Andrade, but I didn't want to just pick the same guy you did, so I was like, screw it.
Same guy that me and Megan both picked Andrade. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all very similar.
Yeah, I was going through my list of free agents, and I just was coming up with nothing. So
I hear you. Because everybody you think of, they're not past the 98 no compete.
Right.
Like Joe, I can see Joe being that person in a heartbeat, Samoa Joe, but he's not past 98 no compete. So it's like, who could it be? Well, there's little hands there. Jamie did chose somebody different though. He chose Daniel Bryan, or is he Bryan Danielson, his actual name, to be the mystery entrant. So we'll see if that plays in. So. Typical, the way, if you haven't seen the way AEW does a battle royal, is very unique. They do them in, like, instead of individuals coming out, they do them in groups. So everybody's broken down. There's 4 groups of 5, then you have a Joker card. That's usually your special entrant, right? So first group comes out, and it's got Powerhouse Hobbs and Christian, along with a couple. They're going at it. Then the second group comes out. It involves Matt Hardy, one member of Private Party, and they wait to jump Dark Order's 10. So Dark Order versus the Hardy family office is definitely a subplot of the Battle Royal. And then third group comes out. Fourth group comes out. It gets whittled away. To be honest with you, for most of the Battle Royal, I was a little underwhelmed with it. I felt that the eliminations were coming a little too fast and the furious.
They were. They really were.
So you never really got a super full ring, which I love. I love like 15 guys in there,
right.
Just like crowded as all F. But they made up for it at the end. So first of all, the special entrant. So after everybody's in the ring, everybody's going at it, special entrant was coming in, and it was Lio Rush. And immediately I'm like, I didn't even think about that.
I didn't
makes
either.
So much goddamn sense.
Yeah, I will say this. I wasn't disappointed. I had some friends over. I had some friends over to watch it, and when they saw Lio Rush come out, they were like, you could just see it, like they were just like, what the hell? And I was like, no, wait. I was like,
no, it's a different Lio. It's a
really
different
good.
Lio.
Just give it a minute.
He's actually a champion at MLW. Trust me, he's good.
Man, Lio Rush. Just give it a minute.
He's not the young boy that Bobby Lashley kidnapped and just talks about. He's so money. His flex the ass. No, he's not that Lio. Lio has gotten so much better since being free of WWE. I didn't help him stay in this match. I was too, and I thought, okay, this will be nice. This gives me a shot, and then he didn't last like 3 minutes. So I was like, bam. Okay, well there it goes.
That was his intro.
So it got down to the end. You had Christian Cage, Matt Hardy, Jungle Boy, the 2 members of Private Party, and I think there was somebody else, but I can't remember. So I'll just say that's who it was. So came down to it. Jungle Boy and Christian Cage kind of double team up to double eliminate the Private Party. So you have Hardy versus Cage, which let me ask you, since you and Jamie are both critical of Christian Cage, even were you surprised with the pop he got from the audience?
I didn't know that he got a pop, and I'm not saying that to be a smart ass. I didn't notice
at first he did. He definitely did.
You know what though? I will say this. I spent the entire match just kind of like this, because I'm like, he's still back there in the corner taking a nap. And I was like, he's the first one in, and he's gonna be the last one out, and he's just gonna sleep through the whole thing.
Even though you picked him, yes,
right.
Well, it's weird because he did get a good pop at the beginning. People were actually doing the old like TNA, the reverse C.
Oh, right.
In TNA, I saw. So I thought that was interesting because you guys are like, no, everybody hates this, and I'm like, I don't hate it. It's whatever, but it was interesting to see some people were actually.
Well, we're snake bit.
Generally,
I can definitely. I know you are. Myself, I'm definitely snake bit when I see the.
I know you are. I like Christian Cage simply because I remember him when he was in TNA before. Right. Not his initial run, but when he turned heel in TNA, the previous part, he was great. He was very good. It's the only time I've ever seen him have character.
Yeah.
Including now. But still, regardless, it came down to him and Hardy, which, there definitely were some feels there, a lot of people going back to the 90s and every table, ladders, and chairs match there was for like a decade, right? Involved Edge and Hardy versus Edge and Christian versus Hardy Boys, and so that was nice. And Jungle Boy, and I'm thinking in my head, I should have picked Jungle Boy. I didn't even think about that. Stupid JJ. well, they so Hardy plays it off. Hey, you and me have history. Let's get this young kid out, and then we'll go 1-on-1. Let's do it. So Christian's like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Hardy turns his back, and then Christian throws him out. And that got a big pop. So it came down Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy. The past versus the future, as Jamie would say.
Yep.
And it was a very actually entertaining. See, the last third of the Rumble was good after they had everybody out there. Just up before that, I wasn't a big fan. Jungle Boy ended up getting the win, though, in a very cool way. And, of course, at the end, none of us got this right, by the way. So Jungle Boy's the winner. Out comes Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt and Jurassic Express, and the Christian Cage gets in the ring. And he's like, okay, he's going to shake his hand. And he doesn't shake his hand. He goes up to him, though, and starts pointing in his chest and saying stuff and gives him a hug. And I'm like, that's why he's here. He's here to put, and sure as shit, he put over Jungle Boy. My point proven exactly. Jamie's not here to combat it. I thought it's great because Jungle Boy, like we said, Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, MJF, in 15 years, they're going to be the echelon. So Jungle Boy gets a title shot probably in a couple weeks against the winner of the title, the AEW title shot. All right, so after that, we had the match that everybody was waiting for. I'm going to call it right now. This was, even though this wasn't terrible, it was definitely the dud of the evening for me. It was the American Dream, Cody Rhodes, versus Anthony Ogogo. Myself, you, Nick, and Megan all picked Anthony. Or we all picked Anthony. Hello. We all picked Cody.
Right.
And Jamie, to be different, picked Ogogo. So Cody came out not wearing polka dots, and I was disappointed in that.
He looked like something out of Assassin's Creed. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like, it wasn't quite Captain America. It wasn't quite George Washington. Right. It definitely had a little Assassin's Creed with the capey thing and the epaulets. It was super American looking. Oh, yeah. Red, white, and blue. It was actually a pretty cool look.
Yeah, it was.
But it was. I knew he couldn't have the American Dream, music. WWE owns that. But I thought at least wear the polka dots, black and polka dots. Yeah. Come on. He was announced as the grandson of a plumber and the son of a legend.
Yeah,
so that was cool.
That was cool.
I like that. And to my surprise, Anthony Ogogo actually wrestled in this match. What? Amazing, right? How about that? Instead of just throwing one stupid-ass punch, you actually do something. He did German suplexes, and he did actual wrestling moves. And it's like, if you want to take you seriously, because you have the resume, the body, the look, I like the gimmick. I don't like the faction. I like the gimmick. Freaking wrestle. And he did, for what it's worth. And in the end, Cody ended up getting the win using a different finisher, which I always appreciate. He using the Vertebreaker, which is like a back pile driver sort of looking thing, whatever. But the American Dream got the win. That's good. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, this match was the one where I definitely went to the bathroom and grabbed a beer.
Me too.
It was like,
Yeah.
But it was fine. It was fine. It was better than I'm just happy to see that Anthony actually did some wrestling. Yeah. Not a ton, but some.
Yeah. He needed to.
He did.
And he did all right.
He did okay. He did all right. So, with that being said, myself, Nick, and Megan all pick up a point. Now, I need to pause it right here because from this point on, Nick, Jamie, and Megan have all the exact same picks. Okay? 100% the same pick. So there's no way the three of them can be any different than they are now. So, Nick, you and Jamie are both mathematically eliminated because you have 2 losses right now. And I have some different picks than Megan does, and you guys don't. So it's up to me to dethrone the tyrant that is Megan Faulkner. So, sorry, you're eliminated. All right.
These things happen.
It is how it is. So, moving along from there, we had our second AEW title match. It was the TNT title, Miro versus Lance Archer. We all chose Miro. And we low-key, well, we didn't even low-key. We flat out came out and said that we all believe this is going to be the match that stole the night.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it wasn't.
No.
But it was what you expected. The two of them did a match that very much fit what you would expect from the two of them. So lots of hard shots and big, just bruisingness going on. Archer showed his athleticism. He did come out with Jake Roberts. They did this whole kayfabe thing that yesterday at the Fan Fest, Miro jumped Jake Roberts, and that's why he wasn't there. But Jake came out about 3/4 of the way through the match. He had a bag that had a snake in it,
right.
Air quotes. Couldn't get it open, and here comes Miro. He jumps and hits him. Then he grabs this bag unopened and throws it back towards the entrance. Yeah, and if there's a snake in there, that snake's not.
Dude, my buddy's girlfriend was like, "What's in the bag?" And I was like, "Oh, it's probably a snake." And then Miro launched it, and I was like, "There's nothing in the bag.
There's no snake in there. That's a big rubber snake in there at most. It's probably just a hose from somewhere around backstage they stuck in there, but it looked cool." Miro, again, he is so over as well, and I'm glad to see. People were so behind Miro. He ended up getting the win by doing his accolade variant where he takes and bends back, and Archer passed out, never tapped out. There's definitely going to be a return match on this I can see coming up here. So, and I'm all for it. I think this could be stellar if they do a series of them. Shit, JR kept going, give me 5, give me best of 5, give me best of 7 of this. And I'm like, I don't disagree with you there. It didn't live up to being like what we thought match of the night was, but it was still. It was very good.
Lance Archer had that one choke slam that was just sick. I mean, Miro's body was even behind his torso. I don't even know how he pulled it off.
Yeah, because Miro's not a small guy. That was impressive.
No, it was. It was awesome.
Lance Archer is massively impressive.
Yeah.
So that was very nice. After that, they made the announcement officially. This was announced. We found out this before the show. If you're on the internet at all, but they officially made the announcement that All Out is going to be September 5th in Chicago once again. And immediately Jamie texts us from Florida and is like, "Oh, Chicago, we gotta go Chicago." I have other thoughts.
Dude, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I was like, I thought you were in Florida.
That's what he was getting. He's big on it. He likes Chicago. I'm not the biggest fan of Chicago as a city. It's okay. But anyway, September 5th, All Out will officially be in Chicago again. So that's great. Then you had the coronation match. So we all thought, all 4 of us picked Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, to beat Hikaru Shida for the women's title. As I said, all 4 of us picked Britt Baker. And this match, it was interesting because you could see the emotion. I mean, Shida was very emotional at the beginning. And she had always said, since for months now, that she won the title. There's no fans there, and she this and that. But she really wanted to defend it with a full audience, and it meant a lot to her. And I love it. Wear your heart on your sleeve. I love it when they break kayfabe or they go out of the box like that. She was tearing up walking into the ring, and it was, I think they had it played into it a little bit. For some reason, though, I felt the match felt a little bit disjointed. The moves, the spots were just a little bit off. It was not the best match that either one of them had did. Even the matches they had before when they were in the warehouse in Atlanta. I mean, it wasn't the crispest. It wasn't the most connected match, which was a shame because it ended in a very good back and forth flurry, which led to Britt Baker locking in the lockjaw, and Shida actually did tap out. Yep. So Britt Baker is, as everybody in the world guess, it is your new AEW Women's Champion. Megan, you don't have to stop watching AEW. She was gonna not watch this anymore if Shida won. There's a lot of close calls in it though that Shida almost won. I mean, I'm making it out to be a worse match than it was. It was a pretty good match, but it definitely was not the best match that either one of them had.
We got spoiled by her versus Thunder Rosa. That set the bar so damn high.
the bar is far out there. And for what it's worth, I think Shia's match against Ty Conti was better than this one.
Yeah.
You know? But that's okay. You don't have to knock it out of the park every time. The crowd was fully into it. So, and for what it's worth, yes, there's a new T-shirt out there, Jamie, for Britt Baker. We all knew it was going to happen. First of all, she doesn't have the most T-shirts of any AEW. He claims that she has more T-shirts than everybody. She does.
She's got a few.
She doesn't. She's got like 6 shirts. You know. So anyway. He really wants to use that gift card to get all three of us matching shirts, and I'm kind of like, I don't really want it. I mean, it's an okay design. I don't really want. I mean, I want a Brody Lee shirt if we're going to have our pick or something. You know, whatever. We'll talk about that when Jamie gets back. But we all get a point. Me and Megan still tracking along here. So, as a quick update. As you see here, you guys are both eliminated, but Megan and I both have 6. With 3 matches left, okay? So there's 2 matches where we differ. This next match is one of them. It was Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, the Men of the Year, or is what their little moniker is supposed to be, I guess. I don't love that. It's whatever. It's just be Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. I mean, you're not going to be a tag team forever, so
True.
whatever. Versus Sting and Darby Allin. This is the in-ring return of Sting after 6 years. He only has done that one cinematic match. So first in-ring action in 6 years. You, Jamie, Megan, all picked Sting and Darby Allin. I, for whatever reason, decided to buck the trend. Said Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. So Sting got right off the bat because they didn't waste any time getting started on this too. They jumped Sting and Darby at the beginning. Sting actually pulled a Scorpion death drop,
did.
Or did like a flying Scorpion thing from the top of the chips by the entrance ramp onto Ethan Page and Scorpion. Like, oh, okay, Sting.
He did.
Sting came to play.
He did.
And for what's worse, Sting didn't look terrible.
No, he looked a lot better than I expected he would.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I expected him to look very much like Ric Flair.
Exactly.
At the end, you know, he didn't. He looked presentable. He took a bunch of bumps too, which is
he sure did.
Very credible to him. Darby took even more bumps because that's what Darby fucking does.
That's exactly what he does. That's why he's there.
Oh my God. The best is that Ethan Page pulled him up above his head, tossed him from the ring over the outside into the front row where his 2 brothers were sitting with all the other AEW talent. Just right there. It was like 8 feet toss. It was impressive amount of strength by Ethan Page.
Crazy.
Ended up at the end, though, that Sting actually got the win. He got the win with a Scorpion Death Drop on Scorpio Sky. 1, 2, 3. So I knew better. Sting's first return after 6 years is yes, I was just hopeful that it wouldn't be, but you, Jamie, and Megan all get that point. I don't. So right now I am 1 point behind Megan. So,
dude, I will say this for that match. I expected to hate it, and I didn't. I was actually pleased.
Yeah, I was too.
The only thing that I felt we missed out on, which was probably appropriate in this case, was Scorpio Sky is so amazing. We didn't get to see the full extent of his talent, but it probably would have been inappropriate in this case. But I came out pleasantly surprised. I figured that was worth mentioning.
I hope they move Scorpio and once again, it's like I hate seeing people tie up in this, feud with Sting, basically, and Darby, and it's just like I hope to see them move on because I feel like we're just starting to scratch the surface of Ethan's character development, and like you said, Scorpio. Like if you see the full onset of Scorpio, like when SCU won the tag titles originally, the very first tag title champions, it was him and Kazarian, and you saw full Scorpio Sky. He has got talent to boot, and you're right. Going against Sting, you're not going to pull out 100% of that. Yeah. So we'll see what they do with him. But anyway, I'm with you. I didn't hate this match. I didn't think it was bad at all. Next match was my match of the night. Spoiler alert. I didn't know really what to think of this match going in. I was like, it should be good on paper, but you never really know. I thought this was the best match of the night, in my opinion. It was Kenny Omega versus Pac versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW title. We all picked Kenny Omega. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was great. They paced it as a triple threat in the best way possible. They had, everybody got their time to shine at the beginning, and then it paced very well. They didn't do the full WWE thing where it's basically a singles match with an extra guy that gets taken out, and then they switch out. They did a little bit of that here and there, but once they got into the meat of the matter, it was just a spot fest left and right. Anything with Pac should be, because that man is insane. We saw him and Kenny Omega do their 60-minute Iron Man match, the go-home show before Revolution in 2019, and that was still the best live match I've ever seen, and there were lots of shades of that here. Kenny Omega played wonderfully. Orange Cassidy simultaneously pulled off the top line contender part and the underdog all in one foul swoop.
That's a good way to put it.
People don't give him enough credit. I mean, they really don't. And I fall into that sometimes too, because I kind of get lost in his character.
Yeah, he's that master of understatement. So you kind of get sucked into it.
I know. Yeah. So it came to the end there. Like I said, the last like third of this match was nothing but close falls and spot fest and just back and forth. Pac had it won and got disrupted by Cassidy, okay? And then they go at it a little bit, and then Cassidy pulls out a flurry of offense, pulls it on Kenny Omega. He goes out of the ring. Then him and Pac go at it for a bit, and then he gets Pac down with a beach break, and he's going for the pin, and he's got him dead to rights. And here comes Kenny Omega, double axe handles the referee. Oh, it's like such a heel move. I loved it. And then of course Don Callis had come down. He was getting "fuck you, Don."
He was
from the crowd. The crowd was perfectly on point, especially in this match. They were great. Which, by the way, I do go and just say I did get my North Carolina shout out by Justin Roberts at the beginning for the introductions. I love it when he does that. It's great. It's such a minute, like, obscure reference. It basically, if for those you know what I'm talking about, during Kenny Omega's entrance, when Justin Roberts used to do the elongated one, when he had the cleaner girls coming out, he would always like tie into the list of accolades somewhere something about North Carolina, and it for those of you who don't know, it relates back to Michael Jordan, because he sees himself as the best like Michael Jordan, so he wanted to pull that out because that's how the Bulls announcer used to say North Carolina. It was a big thing. Anyway, I get off track.
You're good.
But Don Callis is on ringside, and he threw in one belt at a time. They'd gotten rid of Cassidy somehow, so it was just Pac. And Kenny smacks Pac over the head with each of the 4 belts. Falls down. Aubrey, by the way, had come out previously to, save, because Remsburg's still knocked out. So she's your new ref in the match. But he hits Pac with each of the 4 belts, then covers him up. I think he does a one-winged angel. I don't know. But he then covers him up, gets the win. So Omega is still your AEW World Champion.
Dude, Cassidy was very close, man. Very close.
So close. I don't know if he's good. I don't believe he'll be the one to take it off of Omega. My money's still on Hangman all out. That's what I'm saying anyway.
I think that's probably a strong...
And I don't know if you'll see Cassidy feud with him, but I can see Cassidy definitely being in that belt picture in the next year or so, potentially.
TNT belt, maybe?
We'll see. I think that's more likely, probably. I think that makes more sense, but see, the reception he gets main event pop. Mm-hmm. And he showed in several matches, and this is just especially this one, that he deserves to be up there. For what it's worth, he's not necessarily the same sort of independent. He's about the same age as Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
So he's been around for a while. He's not a spring chicken. He's not like, Jungle Boy or the Acclaimed, or he hasn't been doing this for like 5 years. He's been around for a while. So I don't know. I don't want to see him relegate back necessarily, and saying that he goes in line and gets TNT titles, not necessarily a smack on him, but
I get what you mean though. I think you're probably right.
But it also wouldn't be a bad thing for him just to hold a belt.
Sure.
So we'll see what happens. So that leads us to our final match of the night. And as you see here, Nick and Jamie are still eliminated, unfortunately. But they're both sitting at 7. We also have Megan sitting at 8, and I'm sitting at 7. Now, where this comes to play is that Stadium Stampede 2, Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle. Nick, JB, Megan all chose the Pinnacle, and I chose the Inner Circle. So, if the Inner Circle wins and doesn't break up, me and Megan would be tied. If not, the Pinnacle wins, the belt stays with Little Miss Faulkner. I just caught that. That's her new nickname.
I love it.
And it's her last name. It works. So, Stadium Stampede 2. Now, I read and I've heard. Oh, before that happened, I apologize. Before that happened, we had a few announcements, okay? The first one being that Rampage, the Friday show, is going to be on TNT. They announced who the commentator is going to be. He's also going to be a coach at AEW, blah, blah, blah. But who is a brand new person they're bringing in? It is the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. Doesn't surprise me.
I think I heard Jamie screaming from Florida when they announced that.
Yeah, probably not. For those you worried, it's going to be very much the same thing as like Paul White. He's going to be on the commentary. He'll be backstage helping people, probably, whatever. But he's officially on the AEW team as well. But then the announcement that really got me amped. So I said earlier on, they talked about Double or Nothing, right? It's going to be in Chicago. Well, surprisingly enough, they also made the announcement for Full Gear. Now, Full Gear is the pay-per-view they have after Double or Nothing. So Double or Nothing is, All Out. All Out's in Chicago. That's the next one. All Out's in September. And then Full Gear is going to be in November. And I didn't catch the date exactly here. I put down the 5th.
It was November something, wasn't it?
It's November. It's in November.
I think it's like the first week in November.
I think so. I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday. November, right? But it's in November. The part that got
it's in
me,
the fall.
That it's in November. It's early November. We'll figure it out later. Go look it up online. I'm gonna do the same. But in November, in St. Louis.
It's close.
The Louis.
It's close.
The Louis is 4 hours away. 3.5 if I drive. Yes. And Jamie's going to say, well, I want to go to Chicago. I want to go. It's like, you can't. I'm going to Full Gear. I will be going. Because I'm making a weekend of it. Now, I want you guys come with me if you want. I'm going to go to a blues game. I'm going to go to Fan Fest. I'm going to go to, in St. Louis, that close to us. Oh, my God. Hearts are going, yes! I literally am sitting here in my office watching it on my big monitor in front of me here. Just like, yes! Yes, St. Louis! So happy. So, kudos.
It's pretty cool.
You know that, but you also know what that means because they'll be touring by then. Go home or the show after is going to be in Kansas City.
Damn right.
Probably.
Absolutely.
Oh! So happy. I'm so happy with AEW.
Good times.
So let's get to Stadium Stampede. Like I said, I chose the Inner Circle. Everybody else chose the Pinnacle. If Inner Circle loses, they are done as a faction. Now, we had heard that they were going to do something different this year. It wasn't going to be quite the same, right? So I was surprised when it kind of did feel similar to last year. So it starts off in the stadium. MJF pulls up in a limo. Inner Circle rappels down. They're playing it in front of the crowd in Daly's place, and you could hear them actually chanting along with that. So then they start off and they're kind of wrestling around there a little bit. They go in the ring, hot minute. They kind of go up the stairs and into the bowels of the stadium, and then it became cinematic, obvious cinematic. They recorded a lot of this before, right? okay, I was not expecting that. And it takes twists and turns. You had a couple cameos, MJF and Jericho, who everybody kind of squared off in their typical who you expect rivalry, right? So MJF and Jericho are going through the office portion of the stadium, right? And they go into the safeties room where Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer and one of their assistant coaches, Charlie Strong, were having a meeting. and he even goes, Urban even goes, holy shit, you know, these guys are crazy or something like that, whatever. Then for Santana and Ortiz, they met up with FTR at the club level in the bar, right? They do a shot of vodka together, then they get it. Then they start going at it. Before they start going at it, though, they yell at the DJ to change the song. The DJ's Conan from old school LAX fame, right? So there a couple cameos, felt nice, but there was a lot. I was surprised to see so much cinematic on it because I heard it was going to be so much different than last year. Were you surprised to see him pull the cinematics in?
I was, and then I was surprised that they went from that back into Daly's place. That was a smooth transition.
That was the part that I felt was great because a lot of times you can mess up on that. I remember when the Bucks faced off against Butcher and Blade, and I can't remember exactly what it was. Remember they went back, they had the kitchen thing with the potatoes and all that. Like that was not a smooth transition. No. It was obviously pre-recorded. I mean, one of the guys came out with his arm taped up, and it's like, when the fuck did that happen? You know? But this felt very smooth, and it transitioned by Jericho had the upper hand on MJF in the offices, and he starts dragging him through the office on his hair, and then it pulls up. Then he's dragging him out into the concourse, and the concourse is the one that connects the stadium to Daly's place. He's like, holy! It felt great. The same thing that you had. Sean Spears had gotten away from, or he thought he locked up Sammy Guevara with some handcuffs and left him, but he also left bolt cutters right there. So he's kind of going through the hallways looking for Tully, right? Tully Blanchard. He exits the door and takes him on the outside there, which is the outside into the kind of the side area of Daly's place where, you know, Sue drove up in the van and FTR came up in their truck and stuff, right? And so he's walking up into Daly's place, and here comes Sammy, much like Matt Hardy did. The story of this match was Sammy Guevara's redemption in many ways. It was told very nicely. So they end up getting into the ring, right? And they kind of go as an actual wrestling match, you know, to the two of them. And Sean pulled out a chair. He's using the chair against him. He sets the chair up in the corner. Sammy reverses it. He ends up doing the curb stomp of Sean Spears into the chair, which Spears did to him at the formation of the Pinnacle, and then does a stupid 630 splash onto him.
Dude, it was crazy.
I was like, oh, look at 450. No, there was an extra turn in there. Oh shit! Wow, 630 splash. 1, 2, 3. Sammy gets his redemption. Inner Circle gets the win. I get the point. Everything was great about that, and they end with the crowd just incessantly singing Judas over and over and over again. No big surprises, no big jump-ins, no big arrivals. I mean, Leo Rush was there, but no big end of pay-per-view shockers or anything. Which, truth be told, I am actually very happy with that.
I am too.
I know Jamie was talking about his big swerve was he thought he'd see the Bullet Club invasion angle, right? I'm glad they didn't do it. Not for the first shot back, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, to contradict myself, I agree with you wholeheartedly on it being kind of refreshing that there wasn't a whole bunch of surprises, and to me, it gets to that point when you start making a habit of throwing in random surprises like that, where that becomes the focus point, the focal point, and it just kind of takes away from the center of it. So I'm very glad. What did I miss? 2-3 matches that I got wrong, something like that, which was I felt like I knew.
You missed 3 matches.
Yeah, I felt like for the most part I knew exactly what was the outcomes were going to be, but the product was very solid behind that, so it wasn't a big deal, and there weren't any gimmicks, and I appreciate that very much.
Yeah,
because it's not necessary. Sometimes it's cool, but it's not necessary. It's kind of the same train of thought as you don't need to win using a finisher every time.
Exactly. And there's some of these feuds are going to keep going on. Some of these won't. I think a good number of them actually probably won't, but you have some that'll still kind of linger on a little bit here and there, good or bad on that. So I'm with you. It felt good to have just a wrestling show that focused on the wrestling, albeit, I know Stadium Stampede is a gimmick match, but, but didn't have that because I'm with you, it's kind of like the post-credit scene in Marvel movies, right? You get to the point where you almost expect it, and then when they don't have it, it's almost refreshing. It's like, okay, or they just do something like short, and they do just one instead of like 4 or something stupid.
Right.
I started doing like the 2 of them. I'm like, okay, and then Guardians of the Galaxy had like 4 post credits. I'm like, okay, all right, pull it back a notch, guys. So I'm with you there. I am happy with that. I think it was great too, because like I said, a lot of this was fan service. I know that, And there's something to be said with that. You don't want to mess up because the AEW fans are brutally honest.
Oh, yeah.
And if like they will let you know. Like WWE, they pump sound noise and they can cover up, fans booing Roman Reigns and shit like that. But AEW is brutally honest, and that's what it's supposed to be. And I felt great that we got the reactions.
Dude, what I love about that? To your point, is that part you mentioned earlier when Don Callis was getting cussed out by the crowd. It's funny because when he's face to face with the ref, right behind the ref are like 2 7, 8-year-old girls wearing tiaras.
And what was tiara? Yeah, I know.
And then in the background, it's "fuck you, Callis."
Well, shit. I mean, I remember when we went to AEW, Jamie brought Megan and one of his other daughters along. It was actually younger than Megan, and her daughter they were excited because they're like, does it mean we get a cuss? Can we say the S word when everybody does the Adam Page, the cowboy? I mean, it's on a T-shirt that you could buy at merch, And it's like, okay, all right, let's not, okay, all right, So yeah, that was interesting. So. I thought it was a good overall pay-per-view. I thought it was actually really good and refreshing. My grade for the pay-per-view for Double or Nothing in 2021, return to audiences, was a Spotfest. Yep. I give it a solid 4.
I will agree to that. Yeah, I was happy with it.
There were some matches there that I felt could have been better, but once again, it's kind of like your first time. It's not gonna go off without a hitch. It's gonna be pretty good though. Okay, I don't know where I'm going. No,
that's all right. It worked. It worked. But no, I'm with you 100%.
So let's wrap up with the real matter of the day, which is who is our new AEW TSL champion. So you see down below, we got a tie. Megan and myself are deadlocked at 8. So if we go to tiebreaker, none of us got it right. Me and Megan both chose the same person, too. We both chose Andrade, and Leo Rush was the surprise entrant. So, since Jamie's not here to suggest anything otherwise, I'm dubbing myself the interim champion until we come up with a better secondary tiebreaker.
You know what you should do? When's the next day for Dark?
Well, that would be tomorrow.
There
Tuesday.
You go. Tell her to submit her picks for Dark, and you guys do a heads up.
We go through the whole Dark card, all 35 matches or whatever. All right. Well, that's a good idea. I'll text Jamie in the morning and let him know about that. So I think that's what we're gonna go with because there's so many matches on Dark.
And who knows what's gonna happen there?
Okay, that works for worry because you can go look up the matches on Dark right now.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah. I think Wrestling Inc. had like a spoiler review.
That's no good.
Yeah, so I'm trying to keep. I'm not saying that Megan would cheat to keep the one title that she so desperately desires to keep after losing 2 of them, but I'm also not saying that I wouldn't. So
there you go.
So all right, well we will come up with something, and we're going to do this a fair and equitable way because I am nothing but fair and equitable, and because I'm fair and equitable, I'm dubbing myself the interim champion. Yay! Until we come up with that. So I get a belt in my corner. Yay for me. Megan's not here to defend herself. Ooh. So, all right. We will come up with something for sure. Hopefully this stays right where it is, right in the corner, right up here. But if not, we will let you guys know. We'll come up with something on that. So, that's where we're at. So that was Double or Nothing. Final thoughts, Nick?
It was a good night, man. I expected to enjoy it, but I didn't expect to walk away from it with a feeling of peace and serenity, and I did. So it was a nice bonus.
I am happy because you were losing your faith in AEW as well as the rest of the wrestling industry last week. So I am glad.
I'm so surprised that it went almost exactly how I expected it to. But it was still satisfying. And you're still happy.
Right.
It's odd.
I mean, we
do know a thing
or two about wrestling. It's okay to get the right picks, man. It happens, Well, I think that you'll start to see now that once they get into the rhythm of being back in front of the audience, you'll start to see some more surprising stuff happen.
I believe you're probably right.
As long as the product's good, I don't mind if it's somewhat predictable because it's still good in that fashion. Like I did not believe that Ty Conti was going to beat Shida when they fought off a month ago or whatever it was. But I wanted her to at least possibly win because I like Ty Conti, and it was that match led me to believe it may happen. It can still be predictable, but good.
There you go.
Just like us. Predictable, but good. That's a shameless plug. That's where we're going to stop for the night. So thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate you listening in to our Double or Nothing special. Nick and myself will be back tomorrow for our typical wrestling roundabout. And then, like I said, we won't have a secondary show this week with Dynamite being on Friday night at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central. So we'll pick back up with Dynamite next week after Jamie gets back from vacation. So, Nick, do you have anything final you want to tell the people?
Nope. Had a good time tonight.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for listening. Once again, if you are, check us out on YouTube. Give us a comment down below. Let us know, what was your favorite match of the night? Tell me why you think I should keep the toy championship belt instead of Megan. Please just comment down below. Give us a like. If you like what you see, give us a subscribe. Those of you listening on your favorite podcast station, thank you for participating as well. If you have anything you want to shout at us, you can definitely holler at us on Twitter. It is at Total Spotfest. I am at JMoney1536. Nick, don't bother, and we will be back tomorrow. So since Jamie's not here, I guess I got to do his outro, right?
Let's do it. What you got?
All right. So, how many words is that? I got to think of. I was like, I know what to say, but I didn't count the words. Okay. If you're not down with TSL, I'd have. I'm thinking here. Okay, I got to start over. Okay, I just said I didn't count the words, and then I started this. I still didn't count the words. If you're not down with TSL, I got 8 words for you. And new AEW Women's Champion, Dr. Britt Baker. There you go. I can't wait for Jamie to get back. I was not prepared for that. I was on the spot and I botched it. Botch Club.
I like the pause.
Botch
It
Club
was
number
great.
1. I know. Well, dramatic pauses. JJ tries to count. Math is hard, y'all. All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.